Hi, fellow traders. Man, what a start to this week, to this month. We all started this morning out thinking, man, it's just not going to be a good day. It's probably going to be slow. We don't really have any good earnings on deck. Um, the stocks that were on our scanner just wasn't hitting on much. So we had one stock on watch. And, that stock we know makes some big moves, but it can be tricky to trade sometimes. But that was all we had on watch. And man, did we nail it. It was just one of those days. I mean, it's like whatever happens the rest of the week probably will not live up to today. We're going to do our best to be there in case it does, but it was just one of those days, and I'm going to share that with you here in a second. I know what you're asking. Why the hell does Ed have a picture of an axe? And, just give me a minute. I will tell you, yesterday I was listening to one of my motivational videos and it took me back. And you know how sometimes you have experiences when you were a child or when you were younger and you don't even think about it. You never think about it again until something triggers it and it takes you back. And watching this video, it took me back. And what happened, I was in scouting and we had this land that somebody in the church donated to us, and we were building a permanent campsite. And we had to clear some trees out, and we needed some lumber or some wood to build some of the structures that we were looking to have. And so I'm like, okay, I grabbed the axe. I like chopping and stuff. So I grabbed the axe and I just started whacking at this tree. And it wasn't really making too much of a dent in it. So I moved over here and I kept trying to find a soft spot. I kept trying to find the easiest path to knocking this tree down. And I spent about 30-45 minutes and I could not put a dent in this tree. And so the scoutmaster walked over and handed me the stone. And he's like, you got to sharpen it. And I'm like, oh man, this is what my granddaddy taught me when I was learning how to chop wood with him and split the logs. You got to sharpen the axe. So I sharpened the axe and I took those 10 minutes and sharpened it good. The first couple of whacks, I took some nasty chunks out of it. But what did I do? Once I hit it one time, I saw progress. And so I hit it again in that same spot. And I hit it again in that same spot. And I hit it again in that same spot until I had it to where I needed it so that I could get that tree down. So what does that have to do with trading? Well, I'll tell you. Our trading, a lot of times when we're new or have been trying to learn for a year or so, and we've been here, we've been there, we've been knocking on this side and knocking on that side, we haven't sharpened our axe. We haven't sharpened our skills. We haven't honed our skills that we need in order to be successful. And all we're doing is we're jumping from this room to that room to this room. We're taking this class, we're taking that class, we're doing this strategy, and we're doing that strategy, and we're all over the place. And all we needed to do was hone our skills, to learn and focus our skills and everything on one spot and just let it rip and watch the progress we made. That's the problem. How do we sharpen our axe in trading? We have to study. We have to spend time. We got to have screen time. We have to get a mentor or a teacher. Somebody that's willing to invest of themselves as you are investing of yourself. You join a community and you invest in yourself. A lot of you guys, you're not seeing the results because you haven't taken the time to sharpen your axe. You haven't taken time to sharpen and hone those skills and focus it in on one thing and watch it grow. And guys, I thought about this and I'm like, you know what? That's exactly what I did. I didn't even have this analogy in mind when I was learning how to trade. And I realized I couldn't be all over the place. I needed to focus and narrow my focus on one thing. And I needed to be the master of that before I started to branch out. And that's exactly the lesson I learned way back when. That if I sharpen this axe and I focused everything on that one spot, and the only reason I didn't focus on that one spot was that the axe was dull and it wasn't making any progress. So I just went around and tried all these different things and wasted all this time. Some people never come out of that. They lose all their money, they lose interest, they give up. And, it's sad that they gave up, they had all this potential. But if you don't know, you don't know. But now you guys know. You got to sharpen that axe. You got to sharpen that axe. You got to study. You got to put in that screen time. You got to get with a teacher or a mentor or somebody and just willing to put in the time, and you're going to get to that next level. All right, so let's take a look at my trade from today. So yeah, Roku, you might have guessed it when I was kind of describing the stock, but Roku. I don't really like trading this on an opening range breakdown, but today it was a little different. It was on short sale restriction, so that kind of gave me a little bit more calm in terms of it not moving so fast and giving me time to get the rhythm. And so, okay, it put in the 5-minute opening range, and what I had to do was put an order out. Now, this thing got away from me. It sold off pretty quick. It didn't allow me to get an order in, or I did, but it just blew past it. It never did jump back to take me out. So the max pain, I had to set a max level that I would get in this trade. And so 142.50 was it. If I couldn't get in at 142.50, it didn't make any sense for me to take this trade. And so it did. You guys that were in chat, you saw I had the order sitting there. The first one sat there, I think it was at 142.90 something. It just sat there and it never did pop up. So I moved it to 142.50, and that was it. And we waited for a minute or two. It did come back and hit it. And then we just watched it sell and take profit along the way. First target was through 141. That gave me like 1.5 points. Then the next target was through 139. And I had an order sitting at 139. This is positive slippage, guys. If you were in chat, you saw this happen real time. This thing, I had my order at 140. What was it? Was it 141 or 140.95, I think? But it slipped. We got some positive slippage here, which is always a good thing. So we covered half there. And then the next one went through at 132.56. That was the last one. You can see here's the I was just taking profit along the way, locking in profit at strategic levels. Now, if I was only in 200 shares, I never would have taken profit here. I probably would have done it in between these two. I would have picked the spot there. And because that would have been the halfway point between, this level and this level. So, but being in 300 shares, I was able to work this. And my final target was going to be the 90 day from the daily. And sure enough, I left a piece out to see if it would get there. So really, really nice trade, textbook trade, exactly the way we like to trade it. Now, I didn't take the bounce. Now, what would have been ideal is if there was enough room for the bounce. Now, let's say I had enough room back to this level. I definitely would have got in here and been taking profit here and looking for it to move. But I sat on it and went to lunch, came back. As soon as I got back and sat down, I saw this pattern. We see this all the time. So as soon as it broke the 20, we jumped in. First target was going to be the VWAP, but I got scared out and took it off a little bit early. But I took it off on this level, which is okay. This was a worst case scenario. This was best case scenario, the VWAP, but I got shaken out a little bit, took it off there. Next target was the 50. Next target was through 140. So I got some at 140. Final target was going to be this level here or the 100 period, depending on which one it came in first. But you can see we kind of ran out of steam. Tried to bounce. We made a lower high. This is where I should have taken it off. But I just held on to it and was just going to let it run because I had to go pick my son up and we had to go to the doctor. And so I was just going to let it, run, and hopefully we'll get that bounce back up here. But it failed, ended up stopping me out back at VWAP. This was a profit stop because here was the entry here. So this was a profit stop. And then at the doctor's office, sometimes it's a blessing. This time it was a curse. And it was a boredom trade. If I was here, I never would have taken this trade. This was a boredom trade. Like, I don't have nothing else to do. And I messed up the execution. Looking at it on a small laptop, 11-inch screen, with my bad eyes, to me, it kind of looked like we were breaking the low, but obviously it didn't. And it never did break the low. This was just piss poor execution. And so I gave a couple of dollars back. No big deal. We kind of rode this until it bucked me off. I had the right idea. You can see it did sell off. It did come down to where I was going to take some profit. But it, volatility stop out here. I put my stop just above the high of this candle, and it just blew through the 9 and the 20, found my stop, and then it came on back. Just a piss poor execution. The stop was not as wide as it should have been. And I just got caught in the volatility. Now I'm going to do a class on these stops again. Hopefully I can do a better class and explain it a little bit better. But I will be doing that here in the next couple of days. And so you guys can understand exactly where you need to put your stop. Because some people actually got stopped out on this trade. And you cannot put your stop too tight. I showed you, and I'll show you again, how to determine the volatility so you could place your volatility stop outside of the normal volatile range so that you won't get taken out. They're not, you could call it stop searching or stop seeking. All it's doing is looking for volatility. And if there's a level where everybody has their stop and that's where they're going to find volatility, then that's where it's going to go. So, we have to learn how to put our stops outside of that window and sometimes I forget I'm in a position where I could think straight, and that was that. So still a pretty good day. 1283.63. Really nice day. Should have been about $1,500, but it is what it is. Really good day to start the week and the month, and we're gonna look to keep moving. So some of you asked me about how we finished up last week. Last week was a short week. I didn't trade Friday, and I still, some people sent me things. Look, this was moving. You should have been here. No, I should not have been there. I should have stuck to my decision because that's what I do. Okay, I don't care if the world moved. If it's not in my wheelhouse, I'm not gonna go chasing it. That it goes back to what I was talking to you about, the axe. When I focus in on that one spot, I'm gonna focus on that one spot, and that tree is gonna fall. It may not fall on the first hit or even the fifth hit, but eventually that tree is gonna fall. I'm not gonna go whacking on another tree trying to knock this one down. It's not gonna happen. So I don't chase things. I don't care if something's moving. If it's not on my scans, if it's not in my wheelhouse, I am not chasing it. It's just like the small cap stocks. People say, hey, why don't you trade small caps? You can trade real good. No, I can't trade those real good. That's not my comfort zone. I trade those like crap. So I stay the hell away from them. I know my wheelhouse. I know my window. I know where I make my money. And I'm trying to teach you guys to find your spot. Find your place in this trading world. And then stay there. Don't let nobody pull you in any direction. You perfect where you are. And I showed you earlier this month, I can bump up my position size, make a ton of money. So it is scalable. I've shown you that. But I'm back with you guys, trading smaller size, showing you that, hey, you can make money trading smaller size. Traded 300 shares all day today, made just under $1,300. I mean, very little risk, very little stress, other than crying about it not moving as fast as you want it to move in your direction, but that's just being a baby. All right, so real quick, we ended up the week 452.15. Monday was really slow. Tuesday was okay. I kind of gave back a little of that day, if you remember. Wednesday, but you could see the last couple of days, it just wasn't there. We just didn't get the moves or anything, but today is a really good day. It's a really good day. So after going back to 5K, we ended up what about $1,300 for the week? Not bad for those 2 weeks. So not bad at all. I practically made that today. What I did in the last 2 weeks today. So let's see what the rest of this week's gonna do. So you guys have a great night. Those of you, if your subscription is not running out in December, don't log into Omnovia. That I'm running Omnovia for you guys who are gonna be leaving this month. You're not renewing. I'm not paying $250 for you to come into the new chat room and you leave in a couple of days. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to stream in Omnovia for the rest of the month. So you guys that are leaving and not renewing, you're not going to miss out on anything. You're going to get everything. But if you don't have to be there, don't sit there, because we all know it lags. And you want to see things that happen real time as they happen, come to the new chat room. There is no lag. So as soon as it hits, it hits. So don't do that. just let the guys that are not going to stay, let them stay in Omnovia. And I want you guys to experience the new thing because I'm paying for you to be there. So please come in the new room. All right. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.